Hey, Isabel.
Hi, Nadine.
Nice to see you. So lovely to see you here this morning. And we were just talking about how we met, and I saw you do Fantuela. It was with Carlos Conde, Dr. Carlos Conde, who we've seen interviewed in this series, and he did a thing at the Royal Opera House with the Jette Parker uh, uh, singers. And it was just so amazing to see that music be performed. But then I was looking at all the movement and I was really taken away by the movement. And I was like, who taught that movement? And it turned out to be you. and so an opportunity came up and I was just like, oh, I'm working on these songs and they need some kind of movement with a castanet. And I just was like, I've got to get in contact with you. And I'm so glad I did. You know.
Well, I'm glad you did too.
I know, but your work was fantastic. I mean, I remember just sitting there being blown away in the Claw studio, just going, oh my God. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk more about that later.
Yes.
So it's 9:01. Good morning, everybody. I am the intuitive Verdi Soprano, and I'm a certified NLP mind coach. I'm a certified high performance coach. I'm a healer, and I'm also a professional opera singer who loves singing all over the world. I am on 12-week stay safe at home, and so I hadn't been able to leave the house for about 9 weeks, but now I'm allowed to go out for an hour a day, so I'm very happy about that. So and while I was here, I just thought, with all my training and everything, why don't I open up a space where we can all connect and where we can all find out different things about different people, and here we are. So I love connecting, championing and celebrating people, and this morning we are championing Isabel Baquero. Isabel originally trained in Barcelona in flamenco, folk, classical Spanish dance, ballet, jazz, tap, and ballroom dancing, and also roller skating. In 1990, she came to the UK on a scholarship and graduated with honours at the London Studio Centre. Isabel has worked extensively as an actress and dancer with the English National Opera and the Royal Opera in Covent Garden. As a choreographer in 2017, her work was featured in the acclaimed Warner Brothers movie Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman. Good morning. Good morning, Sani. Good morning, Susan Petland. Good morning. Good morning. And so, as I always say, if you need any kind of support, Isabel and myself, neither of us are medical doctors or psychiatrists. So if you would like that support, please, please, please get the appropriate support that you need. Pick up the phone. If you know somebody that could do with your support, pick up the phone to them and see how we go. Today we have our connection today is a bit slow for some reason, but please bear with us. I'm sure we will be fine with the energy of everybody, that we will have a great chat this morning. So good morning, Isabel.
Good morning, Nadine. Here we are. And I want to just make sure that I let you know that there are roadworks in northwest London at the moment. So if you hear some background noise, it's not me playing the castanets. It is the road works going on outside my house. So apologies if this happens, but I've told them not to do anything between 9 and 10.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. So, we've got Hugh. Hello, Hugh. Best wishes from Derry, City Island. Hi, Hugh. I used to live in Derry. I used to live in Eden Terrace, just behind McGee University. So lovely to see you. And then we've got Marjorie Uvry. Good morning. I didn't sleep in this morning. Woohoo!
Me neither.
So tell us, Isabel. Tell us about how, about your career in dance. Tell us.
Well, we have to go back a long time because, as you said, I'm from Barcelona in Spain. I started dancing before I was born, really, because my mother was a dance teacher. And so she has been teaching since she was 16. So I think I had inherited that. And I've been told that she was heavily pregnant 5 hours before I was born, and she was still teaching a dance lesson.
No.
So, yes, apparently she's a very resilient woman. I mean, in my family we have very resilient women. And so she was teaching in her dance studio until 9 p.m. And then she went home and said, oh, I don't think I feel great. Let's go to hospital. And then I was born at 3 in the morning on the 3rd of June. So my birthday was last week, actually. So
Oh,
I'm still
happy birthday!
balloons everywhere here. So yes, basically, since then, you know, she brought me into the dance studio. I've been told I was there with the Moses basket, and when I started walking, I was sitting on the floor, playing little castanets and learning all the basic steps. So I think that's why I said we have to go back a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
when I'm in a dance studio, I'm in my natural habitat. I would say this is where I feel more comfortable, and the theater and standing in the wings and all the preparation. So studio and stage is my home, really.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So you didn't have to be convinced to become a dancer, did you then?
Well, actually, I think I was a bit of a rebellious dancer because I didn't want to do it. And many people say, oh, Isabel, you always said you didn't want to do ballet, because I saw ballet as a very sort of strict thing with the positions and standing at the bar. And as a child, I just wanted to run and jump, and hence the roller skating. Because my father, who was originally a singer, he's a baritone tenor.
Yeah, yeah.
He trained as a roller skating coach, so they could have a studio with my mother. So my mother would teach the dance, ballet, ballroom, Spanish dance, and my father simultaneously in an outdoor space outside the house was teaching roller skating.
Wow.
So it all happened. So from the age of 3, 4, I remember having mini roller skates, mini ballet shoes, tap shoes, jazz shoes, ballroom shoes. So I did all the different styles, and I think that's how I grew up, being very versatile and understanding different rhythms, different styles, and loving it all, but not being aware of it yet.
Yes. Oh, wonderful. Morning, Tanya. Tanya's saying she's so excited. Tanya's a dancer herself and owns studios, dance studios. So, Tanya, lovely to see you here. And Teresa Elwes, good morning, sunshine. Good morning. So, that's really interesting. So, how did, like, you know, you've performed on stage though, haven't you? You performed
Yes.
like on many stages.
When I was in Barcelona, I started performing. Basically, I made that sort of transition from doing dance as a hobby after school at my parents' school into going into Barcelona, because we come from a town near Barcelona called Mataró, which is half an hour by the coast, by the sea, beautiful. So I used to go from the age of 16 to Barcelona to complement all the training, doing it more professionally, taking examinations, Royal Academy of Dancing, all that. So then when I was 17, I was given a place at the Liceo Opera Company to dance in the opera Samson and Delilah and Aida. So that's where my work in opera started, when I was 17 already, and I really loved it. And then I realized, wow, dancing in opera, it's super amazing, because you have the music, you have the singing, you have the dancing. All the elements that I knew from an early age came together, and I was very passionate about that.
Yeah.
So then in 1990, I was given a scholarship to come to London and train as a musical theatre dancer. And I suppose the fact that I was very versatile and I understood all the different styles gave me that opportunity to expand and to understand what's required. You know, 1 minute you're like a more sort of lyrical dancer, the next minute you need to do a cha-cha-cha, something explosive, or even flamenco. So you need to be able to transform. And I think that's what I was strong, or I'm still strong, let's say, in a different level. Before I was a performer, a dancer on stage, and I've made that transition, which we will talk about, as a choreographer and dance coach, to be able to understand what is required in every moment, in an opera, in a play, in a film, in Wonder Woman or anything else. So I think that's a bit of the summary, really.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I'll let you into a little secret, Isabel.
Oh, wow.
I used to dance all the time. I used to dance in competitions, and I've got 60 medals for dancing.
Wow.
I know. And I did disco dancing. So I used to do disco dancing routines, and I used to have this routine with my sister. I mean, we had an amazing time, and I used to enter also the ballroom as well. So we would do ballroom and disco. And yeah, so I've got 60 medals for those, which is quite lovely. So I've got a huge affinity with dance and moving the body. And yeah, it's very so. Hugh is saying, "Oh, you lived in Eden Terrace. Should have greeted you with what's the crack." Sorry,
what's the crack? I'm married to an Irishman, so I know what the crack is.
So, and Isabel, Barcelona is one of my favorite places, says Hugh. That's hilarious. But
me too.
And Susan is saying, "Wow, 60 medals." Yes, absolutely. So
well, I wanted to say that, you know, we can discuss this later, but just to remind ourselves that everybody can dance, you know.
Say it now. Let's just do it. Say it now.
Well, yes, indeed, because I think sometimes we become very inhibited about dancing, and we see it as a technical thing. And, you know, you see people in Strictly Come Dancing now, it's become very popular. And of course, you need to learn the steps and you need to refine them. But it's like anything in the world. But one of the things with dancing is it's part of our body. You know, we're born being able to move. It's part of our composition. People move, people dance. Some people need a few more drinks, obviously, you know, at a wedding party, when you lose your inhibitions to dance more freely. But the nature of the human body is to dance. And sometimes when we're inhibited to do something, it could be dancing, singing, then we stop ourselves. But my job is to empower people to dance, to encourage them to dance, and to realize the impact, the positive impact, and the values that it has on your body physically and mentally.
Yeah. So tell us then, you know, in terms of that, how does that work in terms of being a choreographer? You know, because you choreographer. I can't even say it.
I know I don't. It's so many consonants. I find it hard for a Spaniard to put loads of consonants. It is challenging. So I know this. Let's drink water.
You recently did some work on the Wonder Woman film. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because that
isn't it? Yes. As you know, being a choreographer is very different from being a dancer. So I think we have explained how I arrived to that. So from there to there, it's a long journey, and anyone that is listening or will listen knows that, you know, being a dancer is a very sort of I wouldn't say hard career, but you need to be very disciplined physically and mentally. It's all on your mindset. So you learn how to empower yourself. You learn that sort of subject of self-care you were saying yesterday in your chat. Really remind yourself of self-care. So you learn to look after your body. You know what's best for you. And I think when you become a dance coach or movement coach or choreographer, and you've been given the task of presenting somebody on screen, you need to look at the person and think of what are their talents, what are their skills, and then empower them in that direction together with what the director and the producers want to achieve. Obviously, you need to sort of bring things together, you know. So in Wonder Woman, I was given Danny Houston, who was the body, and Wonder Woman, and they had to do this wall scene. So it's a scene in which she comes with her blue dress, with a sword behind her back, and she has to meet face to face with the body. And it was a bit of a confrontation. So Patty Jenkins, the director, when I met her several times before the film, the filming days, she was saying, you know, I want to create that sort of air of hostility. It's very military, but she wanted a waltz. So that was the sort of the contrast. You know, we had a very sort of hostile moment of Wonder Woman and baddie meeting, Danny Houston, who is a wonderful person, nothing bad about him, I found out. But then you have a waltz that is quite sort of smooth, well, quite, no, a lot, you know, very smooth and very lyrical dance. And that created that sort of strength, you know, that we have something strong, but something smooth to melt it away. So when I had Danny Houston, because obviously Gal Gadot, who played Wonder Woman, wasn't available as much because she was filming, and so I had to stand in for Gal Gadot, and I'm only so I was
Wonder Woman.
Yes, I am the stand-in for Wonder Woman, of course. aspiring, but anything's possible in life. So during rehearsals with Danny, what I did, it was empower him, making him feel comfortable under his skin, because sometimes people come with all those assumptions. I'm not saying they're wrong, because you might have had a bad experience, and I can empathize, because when I started driving, I was a nervous wreck. And then I always think, when I'm teaching somebody to dance from scratch, or somebody who is not a professional dancer, I say to myself, Isabel, remember when you started driving, I couldn't coordinate. I started with a manual car, and you can imagine A, B, C, which foot goes where, what hand, mirrors. So like, so it was a bit of like that situation. So then when I start dancing with somebody, I just look at the person. We do something simple, something, I wouldn't say basic, because everybody can dance. That's the thing. You need to sort of, it's dormant, and people don't have probably the opportunity. And in the old days, I think people danced more because they went to social dances, and that's how our parents and grandparents met, you know. Hello, how are you dancing? And these days we have technology, and we have social media, and thank God for that, because at the moment, in this moment in time, it's saving our lives.
And in terms of that, in terms of like, you know, let's face the music and dance, you know, and we're in this time and stuff, you know. Good morning, Gabby. Gabby says, letting go. Good morning. Good morning. You know, what, you know, like, what do you mean by let's face the music and dance? I mean, you've talked about having dance empower you, or your job as a choreographer and a dance coach to empower people. What do you mean by let's face the music and dance?
Well, when you asked me about a title, I thought long and hard. No, really, no. Immediately, because this is what I do. You know, this is what I've done since I was born, or even before. As I said, I strongly believe that dancing is powerful. Has that sort of, I mean, there's a lot of scientific research, as we know, in the impact and how it improves your quality of life, and it maintains the physical levels and your mindset. So when I say let's face the music and dance, I mean really face it, embrace it, give it a chance, not put it aside like something that is for the professionals, and to wear the lycra and to be sort of you know, all tight and all sort of poised. And it can be any style of dance. I suppose having done all different styles since an early age has given me the opportunity to explore, and I think that's what's important. Everybody has a different temperament and personality, and some styles, some rhythms resonate more with you. So let's say some people prefer Latin dancing, you know, so you hear a mambo or you hear a cha-cha-cha and you say, oh yes, I'm going to swing my hips, cha-cha-cha, 2, 3, cha-cha-cha. Yes.
Oh, we lost her. She'll come back in. She knows what to do if she lost her. The music was getting to her, the cha-cha-cha chapped her out. Oh my God. Hopefully she'll come back in a second. So I know that we have a lovely other dancer as well. And I was saying that Tanya is here as well. I can see that she's here in the chat. And she owns a wonderful set, or did own a wonderful set of dance schools. And I think she still does, actually. So it's nice to be able to bring dance into these conversations. And I think dance for me was something that absolutely opened out my body, but not only my body, but my mind. And they say that you should dance like no one's watching, you know. And I remember that, especially when I was younger, going out for dance with my girlfriends was a way for me to really release my sense of mind and temperament. And you know, dance just made me feel free, and especially with the music of my time, because I loved a bit of drum and bass and a little bit of garage. So, you know, for me, like dance became really, 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 really important. And I know that dance has played a huge role in so many people's lives. But anyway, we've got Isabel back. Hello.
It must have been my cha-cha-cha.
That's what I said. I said your cha-cha-cha chopped you out.
No, I was just sitting here gracefully as I normally do, and I suppose you know, the internet, the Wi-Fi just had a little bit of a moment. Let's hope there won't be many moments. But
Yeah,
did you? I think I gave you a pause for everybody to start sort of practicing your moves. So I thought I gave you a little moment there to start sort of exploring, reconnecting.
Hugh is just saying, great insight from Isabel. Can't dance to save my life, but massive Strictly fan. Well, Isabel has also done Strictly as well, haven't you? You've been one of the coaches on Strictly as well, haven't you?
Yes, a few years ago when they did the Paso Doble, because let's just rewind a bit. When I was in Spain, obviously I trained as a Spanish dance dancer, and one of the disciplines in Spanish dance is flamenco. And this is how you and I met, because when I was working at the Royal Opera House, I was coaching the zarzuela, blah, blah, blah. So when let's go back to Strictly, let's not lose our train of thought. Yes, when they do the Paso Doble, which is that typical Spanish ballroom dance in which the male is the matador, the bullfighter, and has the typical cape moves, you know, and then the female impersonates the bull, and it gives that resistance. So they sometimes bring an expert, a specialist in flamenco, just to give more credibility and authenticity to the piece. And what I find, it is something that is already sort of perfect. There you have a professional dancer and a non-professional that have been working in all the steps, all the sort of musicality, but not necessarily have got the sort of the flavor there. And then what we do is working on the sort of the essence of it. So in my show reel, there is a little clip of that in which I explain that it's a fight between life and death, bull and bullfighter. And if you do research about bullfighting, this comes from the gladiators, in which the man faces the beast. And then this evolved into, you know, bullfighting, in which, you know, the posh, handsome man in town dressed up with the traje de luces, which means the jacket of lights. Traje means dress of lights, which is very colorful, as you know, for bullfighters. And then so that's what we bring, or I bring as a dance coach in Strictly, you know, authenticity, style, essence, you know, being Spanish, having lived that, so brings a very strong connection. And I think they like that, because I work a lot with the sort of working from inside out. When I teach, I always try to make a connection, whether it's flamenco or non-flamenco, connecting with your character. You always need to do a little bit of research. You can't just sort of be peripheral. Movement can be, or dancing can be peripheral. I've learned lots of different styles. That certainly you just need to learn counts and arms and legs, and it is important to learn that, so to make the coordination good. And that's how we learn, by repetition. Repeating sequences, understanding the counts, the musicality, the rhythm, whether it's a waltz 1 2 3 1 2 3, or where the accents are, the dynamics. So this is important. But above all this, I would say, as a choreographer and dance coach, what I try to make strong is that connection with your essence of who you are, whether it's yourself or somebody else. And I think as a performer, I understood that. I have performed, as you said, at the Royal Opera House, at the English National Opera, in many films, television, and it was always clear to me that you need to connect with your role, with your character. And you know that very well from your own experience, that you need to make that very sort of strong connection and project that from inside out.
Do you find that, you know, that people have challenges as dancers? What are some of the challenges that people can have as dancers? You know, especially professional dancers are in their careers, you know, because we see them, you know, and when we see them on stage, they look so beautiful and so refined. And but there are some challenges in that, aren't there?
Every career has challenges, I suppose. Being a dancer, professional dancer, is like being a sportsman. As you know, you train your body in a very sort of physical way. You need to become strong, flexible, resilient. So you work with the physicality of movement. And we have muscles and joints that need to be exercised every day. and it's a bit of use it or lose it. And there are two things. You need to be very disciplined, you need to practice, and you need to understand your body, injury prevention, stretching, strengthening, good nutrition, good rest. So the more intense your exercise routine is, like a sports person, the more intense the recovery is. So professional elite dancers, like sports people, really have this type of training. They understand their bodies, and the challenges are not to get injured, or when you get injured, the management of injury and the management of the body on a daily basis. As I said, I do believe in the holistic approach of I love those 4-pillar plans in which you think about your nutrition, your fitness, how you sleep, how you recover. So I see all those 4 things as a very important part of a dancer's life, or a performer's life, because I stretch beyond working with dancers, as singers, actors, anybody who works on the theatre and stage and film. So I think the challenges are maintaining the body and improving yourself. And sometimes you can't improve yourself because you have a lot going on in your personal life, or you're moving house, or something happens, something interferes with your career, but you need to find a way to maintain it. And if you can, then you can pick up. But I think it's always good to be aware. That's one of the things that is very important, I think, is to have that sort of understanding and that awareness of your body. How does it feel when you wake up, when you go to sleep, during the day, when you're training? Where is the pain? Or if there's no pain, what do you feel? You need to eat more of these, more of that. I think it's about being very inquisitive and being very aware of and mindful of your situation, your surroundings. Do you feel cold? You need more clothes. You need, it's all these very simple things, but they're very important, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm a high performance coach, and one of the biggest things about being a high performance coach is not about peak and trough kind of maintenance, but that balanced maintenance, and how to keep that consistency. So that's exactly how we would think as a high performer. I'm just going to take this quick question and then we'll get your tips. Hugh says, what's the best method to keep supple in yoga, etc.?
Well, as a dancer, I trained to be flexible, but flexibility is something that doesn't come naturally to everyone. So I think it's very important, again, to understand your limitations and your abilities, and to work within your range of movement. So to improve it is by doing work incrementally every day, So you have to understand how your body works. So you need to hold a stretch between 10 and 15 seconds. That's what they teach you. Warm up, do something cardiovascular. So muscles respond better when they're warm. When they're cold, if you think of an ice cube or something that is cold and tight, it won't stretch, it won't give. So when the body is warm, so if you do a little bit of jogging or running on the spot, when I teach a lesson, normally I do something, more cardiovascular at the beginning, and then we do stretch. Or I ask people to do that before, if we have limitation of time, because you can't incorporate everything. But it's very important, I would say, warm up. Warm up is always the best thing, and the first thing you need to do before a movement lesson. You can't start from cold, because the muscles are more susceptible to injury and to being pulled. And then if you pull a muscle, it puts you off, and you go down that spiral that you don't want to do it. So we want to create a nice, warm and beautiful environment for our bodies. And I think that's the challenge for everyone, not just for dancers, for everyday life.
Yeah. So could you tell us 3 tips that we can take away with us to kind of, introduce maybe some dance into our lives and movement into our lives?
Well, the first one, which we've been discussing, is this sort of listening to your body, this self-awareness and connecting to your body. So you wake up and maybe you had been doing some gardening the day before, or you've been training hard, or you've been doing some sit-ups like mad at home now, with your YouTube lesson. And then you listen to your body and think, what do I need today? Do I need to push myself more, or do I need to take a step back? Am I going to lie down on the floor with my yoga mat and do some stretches, shoulder rolls and back, or cat stretches and something more gentle? Or in contrast, do I feel a bit lethargic? Do I feel like I'm sort of slouching a lot? Do I need to do my sit-ups? Or do I need to sort of stand up and start my day with 2, 3, cha-cha-cha, 2, 3, cha-cha-cha? Yeah, so I think, sorry about that. We didn't lose the connection, did we?
No.
No. Yes, it is about, yeah, this sort of self-awareness that one needs to have. And I suppose that's why we become coaches, like you, like me. You look at somebody and help them, guide them. You don't make the decisions. You see them and you help them make the decisions. They understand their bodies better than we do. And then you have the knowledge, the expert knowledge. I could say, well, from my experience, this is what works better, warming up, and then after a good workout, you need to cool down and stretch, and this style is more suitable for this and that. So yeah, that awareness and that sort of...
No, I really get that for number one, because this morning I woke up and I have my personal training session every morning at 7:30, Monday to Friday.
Wow.
And I woke up this morning, I was like, I can't do this. I'm too tired. Like, we just have this moment. So I did have the session, but I just said, can we just spend most of the session just stretching? I mean, I'm lucky I have Josie Benson personal training, and she's really great. So she's really good, and she's a performer. She's a performer herself. So, it's one performer to another. But, and she just really got me to a place where I could get my energy back in flow again, because that's the most important thing for me this morning. But then I did say to her, I'm doing this. I'm going to do the show this morning. And then actually I'm going to work the rest of the day from my bed. Sometimes I do that. Like, if I can feel that my body needs that recuperation, I'm still going to be actively doing some admin and doing the work that I need to do. But I need to do it horizontal or on my sofa or somewhere where my body is at rest. That's really important for me.
Yes, it's important to realize, I think, as our bodies change constantly, our bodies are dynamic. We age. It's a natural process of life. And perhaps as a performer, I've learned, when you were asking me what's one of the challenges, one of the biggest challenges is adapting. Because your body, you have muscle memory, and your body knows how to do things, particularly when I dance in La Traviata, the Royal Opera House. I've done this role for 25 years, so I have a muscle memory. So understanding how your body changes, how your joints change, how you need to adapt the work, I suppose for a singer as well, or for a football person, it's always important to have that sort of connection, and understand how you can empower yourself and others. I think that's probably the most important thing for me, the tip.
So what's the second?
The second one, obviously, we've also discussed the self-care, because with dancing and movement and any career in which you use your physical body, you need a constant sort of assessment. And what we've discussed now about stretching, injury prevention, nutrition, my 4 pillars, resting, eating. We can all have a bit of a cake. I had lots of cake last week with my birthday, and cava and wine, but everything in moderation. I think you need to enjoy life, and you need a variety. And as we know in nutrition, a rainbow diet is the best. Foods of all colors, and all the different vitamins and nutrients need to be present in our diets. But there are times that you need to, assess your diet and reassess what you do to improve, to empower yourself. So I think this self-care in many levels is very important. And sometimes it means that self-care is what you were saying yesterday, watching a movie, eating popcorn. It's not always about sort of being sort of still and reading a book. And in terms of dance, is what I was saying, one day you wake up and you think, ooh, today I feel like something smooth, something more like a samba or something gentle. And the next day you feel, no, today I'm going to do slow, quick, slow. And it's more of a tango. Or one day you feel really, and that's what I think sometimes, people will benefit from doing flamenco from a chair, because I teach a lot of flamenco in this very studio. This is my flamenco dance studio. And you know, sometimes feeling the space. I don't know if you can see, but sometimes it's how you use your upper body and how you use your hands and rotating the hands and really think about the connection with the spine. And then you progress and you stand up and you do the same. And sometimes it's about sort of that connection with the floor and sort of feeling your surroundings. So different styles of dance, I think, can give people that sort of self-care, because dancing really has that impact on the physical and mental well-being of people, and it's very expressive, it's very artistic and creative. And as we say, self-care is not just about eating a carrot, it's a holistic experience, and sort of analyzing and being aware of what you need, what style, what lifestyle, and what's best for you in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was saying it yesterday around self-care, actually, I forgot to mention that one of the biggest things you can do is just come off social media. Like,
Yes.
Yes, because I think, unless the social media thing that you're doing is actually filling you up at the moment, especially, in the times that we're in, just limit it. If it's an hour a day, or or take a couple of days off and then do another, but it's really just making sure, because it's also our mind as well.
Yes, I was talking to a physiotherapist, because I find personally that since we are more on social media the past 3 months during the lockdown, when we're using our computers, we tend to neglect our posture more, and we're using, this is my right hand of the mouse. I had to divert to the left hand because I was getting my shoulders very tense. And if you have a good chair that supports your back, that's good. If not, we tend to, after 10-15 minutes, we can't hold our posture. So my recommendation from my discussions with physiotherapists and osteopaths is every 20 minutes, put a timer and start moving. And I think that's part of the situation that we're all facing when we're spending more time on our computers, in terms of stretching and that self-care. And maybe stand up and play a bit of music and dance. And that's my next point.
So your next point is to get up and dance and just
Yes, I think that works with the present situation and enjoy it. I think what I've learned in a personal level is that we all have sort of this moment of being inhibited. And I can tell you my secret is that when I came to the UK 30 years ago, I didn't speak a word of English. So when I started working as a dancer, it wasn't so important to communicate in English, because you use your body, is your language, the movement. But since I've become a coach and a choreographer, I had to use the language to convey, to express myself. And I think that has helped me to overcome my fear. I wouldn't say fear. I know they say have the fear and do it anyway, but it was that sort of obstacle, that hurdle, that English is not my first language. I speak Spanish and Catalan fluently, and I understand Italian. And English now has become part of my life, and I love it. It's a fantastic language, and I use it every day in a personal and professional level. So why I'm saying this is because that could have been a hurdle for me. And sometimes dancing, people are afraid of it because they think they're not as good, or is something they're not good at. And my point is to encourage you to try, maybe in the sort of in your own space, in your own sort of cave, in the safety of your home, and put the music on. So get up and get the body into the music. I had already demonstrated cha-cha-cha, a bit of flamenco tango, but then last one, I want to, you feel like it's a quiet day, like today is not very sunny, and you think, I'm going to play a waltz, and I'm just going to go forward and back, and the side, and the side, and breathe, because waltzing is a 3/4 rhythm, and it's got that 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So I think we can connect music with dance. They're married. And the breathing rhythm. I mean, they say that rhythms that are in 3/4 are more connected to the breathing, so 1 2, and you can make it as slow, as fast as you like. I mean, there's fast waltzes as well. But But then you have rhythms, as I said, that are more in 2/4 or 4/4, like a tango. Pum, 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 ba-da-ba-da. So they're more your heart beat. So if you want something a bit more dynamic, more rhythmical, go into something with more of a square rhythm. And I think this is important to recognize the positive effects, the impact, and how dancing improves your life. As I said, social engagement. It's a good brain exercise for coordination. It's expressive, it's artistic, it's creative. It helps your mental well-being. When you're doing a dance lesson, whether you are the coach or the person on the other side, you totally focus. I find that coaching, I love it, because then I kind of switch off of everything. It's like putting the airplane mode on my phone. It's like I switch myself off from the outside world, and I'm focusing on whether it's the group that I'm teaching or the one-on-one, and you really inside that bubble that I feel protected, I feel encouraged, and I feel that I'm making a positive contribution for people.
Aww.
And
Thank
to make
you.
them, I love it. I suppose because as we said at the beginning, is what I've done since I was born. It's part of my life. It's in me, really.
Yeah, I forgot we've got another dancer here, Teresa Elwes. She says, "Get up and dance." Yes, always. Yeah,
Absolutely.
one of the things that I've always said is, you know, for if you feel a little bit inhibited around dance, put on your favorite tune.
Absolutely.
Just let go. Don't even think. Just dance like no one's watching, and just let go. Some of my favorite tracks are, you know, things like "This Is Me" from The Great Showman. You know, just putting on that whole album and just dancing just whatever my body wants to do, just going with that. Songs can be great anchors for go. You know, so choose a great anchor for yourself.
Yeah, and sometimes when you feel tired is when you tend to retrieve, and you think, my feeling and my advice is, unless you have an injury or something that's really important, that you rest and you retrieve and you recuperate, is that you need to sort of not push yourself in a harsh way, but just really give your body a chance, you know. So let's say you wake up and you feel a bit lethargic, just play something mellow and get into the groove and get it. Your body is very important when we wake up to stretch, because we all tend to go into fetus mode when we sleep, and our bodies get smaller and tighter. So it's a little bit of stretching, lengthening the sides of the body, rolling the neck, rolling up and down, doing a few stretches on the floor, see what you like, and then putting your favorite music. So, I mean, some people really love disco. I mean, I was born in the 70s, so so I love that style of music, and you know, you play some music and then you just go, way, and that's done something for you, and then you sort of broken that seal, and then you can move on to the next level if you feel like. But I believe there is that sort of opportunity in all different ages of life, you know, at different levels, in different, it's like a dimmer switch. You can put it higher or lower. The tonality can change depending on your mood and what's required, if it's a professional level or a hobby, or so I think that's why dance is very important in our lives.
Okay, we've got one more question. Marjorie, you put a question. Why a question? I'm trying to close off. So Marjorie puts a question is, what is your opinion about the age young children should start formal ballet as opposed to simply improvising to music?
Well, from personal experience, as I said, I studied ballet at the age of 3. I didn't do it professionally until later on. What ballet gives children is a sense of structure, positions. This is almost like classical music and classical singing, isn't it? You learn all the basics, all the technical basics of piano movements, and with ballet it gives you all the basics of the positions of the feet, of the arms, all the balletic names, you know. Then they can be transferred to other techniques like jazz, contemporary. So if you learn what a plie is in first position, then you know. So I think to avoid ballet, I'm not saying avoid it, but sometimes it's how you approach ballet. Because when I was a child, I didn't want to do ballet, and I know hanging on the bar and doing all those. I think you need to find if your daughter, like mine, that doesn't want to do ballet, need to find an approach that is a fun way to ballet, because ballet gives you all the basics, all the,
I think
the
what
terminology.
Isabel, but I think what her question is
Sure.
what, you know, what is the age to start
About the age.
ballet as opposed to simply improvising to music?
Well, every school has a different, way of approaching ballet. That's what I'm saying. So some schools will take children, like 3-4 years old, and I think that's fine if it's a game, and if they learn how to play and improvise with music, and gradually, incrementally, then they learn, the positions of the feet and the hands, that then when they're 8-10 years old, they can be applied. I think improvising is very important. You need to develop creativity, especially if you become a choreographer. You need to have your creative juices. You can't be constrained in positions and shapes. I think it's nature and nurture. Improvising is part of a natural process. Yeah, it's a natural process, and you need to be nurtured with specific ways of moving, so then you can create sequences.
Okay, thank you so much. That's brilliant. Thank you. Luna's just saying, I woke up feeling lackluster and arrived late here to the party this morning, but now I'm here and I'm feeling inspired and I want to get up and dance. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely brilliant.
Let's face the music and dance.
Let's face the music and dance. So,
let's hope
no, well, we're already experiencing them. So Janine de Beek, I have on the show tomorrow. She is the phenomenal soprano that took the BBC Proms by storm with the wonderful Chineke Orchestra. So we will be having her on tomorrow to talk about behind the scenes of being a classical musician. So, and before we leave, my love, do you have any final thoughts?
Well, let's face the music and dance. I think this confinement, this lockdown, this complete situation world we're living in has shown us that it is very musical time now. Yeah, everybody is playing music at home, and with that music we need to follow the tune. We need to let our bodies respond to that and understand the benefits that it has, and go with the flow, really.
Oh, wonderful. Go with the flow. I love that. Let's end it there. Let's go with the flow. Susan Pentland is saying, I love to dance fast music when I do my housework. Thank you both. Stay safe. Gabby is saying, you're both an inspiration. You are all an inspiration. Please remember, I've only got 2 more days left. Tomorrow I'm going to be on show 60, everybody. We've done 60 shows. We've done 60 sessions. Theresa is saying dancing is healing, and Hugh is saying thanks, take care, both girls. So because I'm on show 60 tomorrow, or session 60 tomorrow, we have Friday, and then I'm going to take a week off because and then I'm going to come back for a week, because I promised that I would do 12 weeks with everybody, and this week is week 11. And but I feel now that absolutely I need to do my own self-care, and part of my own self-care is I always want to lead by example. I always want to walk my talk. I never want to be in a position where I would tell you to do something if it's not something that I would do. That's not a sign of a great coach. It's, we are each other's teachers. So for me, next week I will be taking next week completely off. But then I will come back for another week after that and have some amazing guests for you. And I think the final one somebody's going to be interviewing me, so that's going to be quite interesting. But I just want to say thank you, and I'll keep saying thank you for being here with each and every one of us this morning. This community that has built has really touched my life. And I just feel like, I feel so grateful that we've all had this space together, and we've just kept showing up for each other every morning. It is such an honor to be able to do that. And for every guest that's been on, thank you so much. Thank you. So our wonderful guest today, Isabel, who came and brought so much energy to the table this morning. I love your enthusiasm and your passion for dance, your passion for music. your passion for life, your passion for movement. It's really evident in you, Isabel. Thank you for waking us all up this morning and giving us a bit of that joy and letting us all meet your music and meeting your dance, which has been just so fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for having me, and carry on.
Thank